Selling or advertising gay conversion therapy may soon be classified as a fraudulent business practice in California. A bill in the state Senate would make it illegal. Conversion or reparative therapy is the practice of trying to change someone's sexual orientation. Some critics say the bill infringes on religious freedom. Joining me now is Ned Dolejsi, Executive Director of the California Catholic Conference. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lauren. Good to be here.
Lawmakers say the intent of this amendment is to outlaw the sale of so-called conversion therapies. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered. Does this amendment, could it threaten religious freedom?
One could make a speculative argument that it could threaten religious freedom. However, the First Amendment protections are pretty vigorous, and I think it would be a stretch. I think the concern of some of us, and certainly the concern of some of our partners, is the fact that this particular law would perhaps unleash a variety of consumer attorneys who would be after people who are selling a Bible or something like that. But most of us are not all that concerned that that would be what would happen. I think there's, from our standpoint, there's more of a concern of the inappropriate use of the Consumer Code of California for ideological purposes and a way of harassing people with whom proponents don't agree.
Lawmakers cite the American Psychological Association's 2009 task force report that concluded that sexual orientation change efforts can pose critical health risks, including confusion, depression, guilt. They go on: helplessness, hopelessness, shame, social withdrawal, suicide, substance abuse, and a loss of faith. What would the impact of this amendment be on homosexuals?
The American Psychological Association has their own particular view of it, which you just articulated. There are other psychologists and psychiatrists who would have a slightly different and more nuanced view. I think the reality of the law proposed is the fact that the consumer code is being used, and when in fact existing law in California already addresses the question of sexual orientation change efforts. And this is an expansion to, in my opinion, as I've articulated, an expansion to try and harass people who are interested in offering quality therapy to folks that find themselves in need. And there was compelling testimony from a person who had been abused as a child and thought that they were gay, and then realized in therapy that they weren't gay, and introduced their wife and children, to the, and is that outlawed or not? And it's unclear as to, how far you want to extend this particular approach.
What can ministries do that want to promote traditional views of marriage and sexuality?
I think at the present time, they can certainly continue to offer, and if this did not become law, they could continue to offer the type of counseling and therapy that they felt were appropriate. And, remember, we're talking about adults here, adults who would choose to say, I would like this particular counseling, I would like this particular assistance. And this law would say that you can't advertise to offer that assistance to people. And so we're now talking about a violation of individual rights, if you will, of people to seek the therapies and the counseling that they would like.
Ned Dolejsi, Executive Director of the California Catholic Conference. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Lauren.